I was hoping I'd be able to cheat with this, but it's so small. That means that none of you can hear my mistakes either, which is good. Wow, San Francisco. This is pretty exciting. So I've written this book called 100 Butches, and I'm going to start off by reading number 8.
All right.
I thought Ruby was the epitome of sexy. She was a gymnast, she was a taekwondo expert, she was a javelin thrower, she was a netball center, she was a Singaporean chess master, and we were 13. What was my next line? Every day she'd walk to the back of the class, she'd strut to the back of the class line, pop her collar, and say, "What's up?" to me, and salute me with some kind of painful gesture. It left me speechless with admiration. We sat next to each other, and I spent a futile year trying to break through the macho small talk. Then at the end of this year, we had an exam, and I looked over, and I realized that she was slowly sliding down her desk until her school uniform rose up her legs, and her answers were scribbled onto her thighs. I concentrated badly, needless to say. My diary says, second period, history exam, and then, am I gay? I've heard that since then she married the frontman of a rock band. Next one. So that was number 8. This is number 38, which is hard to read, but I hope you recognize an experience like this. All right. I had 4 hours left in Berlin. 2 hours to go pick up my stuff, and then 2 hours to get back to my connecting flight. I hadn't expected all of the delays, and so now I only had 10 minutes. 10 minutes in the house that we used to share, her and I. I couldn't decide if I was mad or glad. By the time I got onto her U-Bahn line on the subway, I felt sick with nerves. When I got off at our familiar station, I could hardly breathe, and by the time the tram left me at our street, I was shaking, but my feet, they walked me stiffly up to number 36. It had been like 6 months since we'd broken up, and I still felt totally crushed by the heartbreak. I knocked on the door, and one of my old roommates let me in, surprised to see me, and then 2 more roommates jogged down the stairs, and then there she was. She was leaning against the wall on the top of the landing, balancing her laundry. She looked smaller than I remembered, but better in real life. She looked like she had a fresh haircut, and her rat tail still snakes around her neck. I wasn't sure if she was going to be cold and indifferent or fake friendly, but she was herself. She was polite, attentive, staring, and intense. I stared at her while I answered questions and picked up the rest of my stuff. And it all happened really quickly, and then it was time to go. So she put on her coat, and she walked me to the bus stop. And we stared at each other until I lost my nerve. And then the bus came, and she hugged me goodbye. It knocked a hole out of me. Her smile was exactly the same. Exactly the same. Her neck, her small frame under her coat, her waist in my hand, her hand inadvertently against my breast, and that was the last thing. Awesome. Your reactions are way better than in Toronto, I gotta say. Don't tell them I said that. Alright. Okay, so 100 Butches is coming out as a book in a few months. You can pre-order it on Amazon, which is cheaper. Then I do a few comics, and this is one that I do for a national queer magazine, whoa, in Canada, woo, called No More Potlucks. I'll have to ask you guys to explain that to me then. Cool. And this is called The Illustrated Gentleman, and it's interviews that I do with queers who, like me, love male fashion. So this is an interview with Chase. Since I started identifying as trans, I've become meticulous about how my clothes fit. I love fashion, and I describe my style as GQ casual pseudo thug. Yeah. When I shop, I'm either ignored or scrutinized because clerks assume that I don't have money to spend or that I'm a criminal. Banana Republic staff don't pay attention to me, and H&M becomes vigilant as soon as I walk in. Dragon. This is Dragon. East Asian men are a last choice as North American male role models, stereotyped as submissive, inscrutable, effeminate. So East Asian queers have to face a secondary racist hurdle in order to produce credible male sex appeal. G-Dragon is my role model because he doesn't even try to compete with white heteronormative masculinity. Many Korean pop stars model themselves off white or black masculinity, but G-Dragon flaunts his own emasculated, homoerotic brand of appeal, and he succeeded in becoming an iconic K-pop sex symbol. He wears makeup, earrings, tight tapered outfits, produces a subversive sex appeal, and paves the way for atypical Asian masculinity. Woo! So I'm selling samples of these, and there's also a bonus one-time sale of this other comic that I've just started for a national gay newspaper called Extra. Yeah! And it's about 80s pop culture and how queer it was. Yeah. Thanks so much.